Captain America Civil War. I'm not one to go and see Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I am really not. I was thinking about seeing Age of Ultron, and I decided not to. And with Civil War, I finally decided, okay, I'm gonna go see this movie because it looks really cool. It has freaking Spider-Man in it. And I was really impressed. Now, don't think like, oh, you just watched the movie and you just bought the figure just because you liked the movie. No, I did that with Guardians of the Galaxy, but here, I wanted this figure before the movie came out because I'm an Iron Man fan. I'm an Iron Man figure collector, and I really wanted this figure because this armor design is so unique. I love the differences in the helmet. It looks so different, and the body itself looks a lot sleeker and nicer. And I just felt like this figure was going to really amp things up, especially with these repulsor blast effects, and I'm really excited for the battle damaged version with a Tony Stark head, more blue repulsor effects, and two, I believe, either red or orange repulsor effects. I'm really stoked for that. So let's look about this figure. Beautiful English. I tried to record this video once before, and my English was so poor. 4 minutes in, I was completely stuttering and sounding like a maniac, so I had to completely redo it. So hopefully I don't have that issue today. So yeah, let's get some comparisons out of the way, because I really want to show off just the evolution of Hasbro's Iron Man figures. So here's one of the first Iron Man figures Hasbro has released, and this is a big point of contention where, yeah, it's, the red, let's face it, it's just the plastic now. And on the Iron Man Mark III over here, it was actually painted all throughout. Completely, utterly painted everywhere on this figure. And it looks really nice. Now, granted, mine, it's incomplete. It doesn't have the blue arc reactor part, and it doesn't have the shoulder pads. But, hey, I got it for $2. I'm not complaining. But yeah, as you can see, it's a difference. Honestly, it depends on the day. Some days I'll prefer the shininess of the Iron Man Mark III, and other days, like today, I'm actually preferring the plastic coloration of the Mark 46. I think it just really blends in nicer with the gold, and it's not as distracting. And if you may notice, on some parts of the 43 here, the red is actually fading away. And, like right there, you can see a little bit. Like, the paint will fade away. Like, right there. It's a gray plastic underneath. And it's going to fade away over time, especially with play. And with this, it feels more solid. And this figure does feel a lot more solid than this one, and it's more articulated. And I feel like the plastic, it really works. Let's look at a more modern iteration of the Iron Man figure, the Mark IV, in the form of the repaint, which is the Marvel Now Iron Man. I would have the actual Mark IV, but it's kind of expensive, and I'm happy with just the Marvel Now right now, because the Mark IV, it's not an Iron Man armor that really draws me in, but that figure is a really nice figure, and I feel like they've even still stepped it up. I feel like the waist articulation on the 46 is a lot better, and the hip articulation, I'll say it's kind of limiting on the 46, but I feel like it's easier to work with. Because if you didn't know, on these older Legends, they're on like these ball joints, and you had to really work around it to really get them to work. And see, it's just all confusing right now. And these shoulder pads always fell off, and they still fall off. Shoulder pads on the 46 are not only really nicely attached, but they're not attached to the shoulder here. They're attached to the shoulder by the arm, which I actually like. Now here is the 43, and as you can see, even now the colors have changed, and the overall designs still have changed. Certainly prefer the plastic color of, I don't know, I'd say right now still the 46. I prefer the color of the 46, and I can really see how people wouldn't, because it does look more like plastic. But with the 43, I feel like just the shininess and the marbleization of it makes it feel a little, like it's uneven in some places, and even the paint isn't spot on in some places. It looks like it could have used a second coat, etc. However, on the 46, the paint is really nice, really thick. I don't feel like it's going to wear off or it's going to fade away. Because if you look right here on the hips, well, not really the hips, more like the thighs, of the 43, you can see that paint really isn't nice. But if you look at the thighs of the 46, look at how nice this paint is. It's really, really sweet. One thing I noticed in other reviews, they were talking about this imperfection on the back of the thighs where they inserted the mold. It's not that bad on mine, I'd say. It's really not that horrible. It doesn't really, distract from the overall aesthetic and sleekness of the 46 design. So while we're looking at the figure a little closer, and while my tongue is completely failing me, let's look at some of the details of the armor. Look at this thing, man. Look at this freaking thing, dude. It's amazing. I freaking love it. Just overall design and the paint and the sculpt. Oh, it's really nice. This is probably my favorite Iron Man figure. It seems like when it comes to Iron Man, they just keep getting better and better. And with this figure, I would certainly have to agree. Taking a look at this head sculpt. It's just so different and so unique. And it's out of focus, and I freaking love how it's out of focus. Yeah, look at that. It's just so nice, and I feel like it really captures the look of the movie. One scene particularly from the movie where I really vividly remember just the weight and the aesthetic and the just sleekness of the armor was when Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man were walking down a hallway. And it was a really brief scene, but hopefully I didn't spoil it for you guys. Spoiler alert, characters walk down a hallway. His armor just looks very, very nice. And I feel like this figure actually captured it very, very well. Looking at the articulation, he has a ball joint at the head, as well as a hinge joint. So you can get a lot of posability. And just to see how well it will pop off for the alternate head, it pops off really nice. Really excited for that Tony alternate head coming out. Shoulders go up that far. Oh no, ACBA people, so disappointed. But, I mean, seriously, if you want it to move up any further, do this. I mean, that's what I do. It doesn't look that bad. It looks nice. Swivel at the... I'm just going to call it the bicep. Boom, I remembered 2 points to Gryffindor. Dual hinge at the elbow, which could go a little bit more, but honestly, I feel like it would have really kind of ruined the nice look of this piece of the armor right here if they did. Both hands, all sets of hands are on a hinge as well as a swivel. Really, really nice joint at the waist here. The crunch really isn't that far forward, however, it really is serviceable back. And this Iron Man really, especially with the repulsor pieces, can look up exactly how you want him to. Really, really nice motion there. His hips, this is where things get kind of irritating and kind of limiting. They only go out this far, and I can kind of see why, because he does have, the sculpted armor here, and they really wanted to keep it as solid as they could. And if you see down there, they finally used ball joints instead of ball hinges on the Iron Man figure hips. And that means that, it can move forward a little bit. I don't know, how forward does this one move? This uses ball joints, actually. This one's kind of a little better around the hips, I'd say, but then again, they really made them look a little more spherical than these. These look a lot more solid and flowing with the armor. They move forward pretty well. They don't really move side to side, and I don't know why people like legs moving back. If you seriously even look at acrobats, people doing those weird backward somersaults, it's not their legs that move back, it's their waist. So if you really want more backwards motion, complain about lack of waist articulation here, guys. Seriously, do you guys even know anatomy? Do you even know anatomy? Did you take anatomy? I didn't take anatomy, I just know. Yep, dual hinge right there, as well as a good old hinge at the foot. Wish it would move a little bit more forward, but I think it moves forward enough for me. Back, and nice ankle pivot. So, we're already pretty much 10 minutes into this thing, and we don't even have a look at the accessories. Well, thankfully, the accessories aren't really that much. You get fisted hands per each side. Oh, look, there's the other hand. That's fantastic. It's the same thing, but reversed. And then this hand, which is the repulsor blast hand. Now, these repulsor pieces are not connected to the hands, which I really like. And once again, it's pretty much just the same thing for the other hand. Let me get the other repulsor piece out. Pretty much just the same thing. Nothing really worth it. But these repulsor pieces, this is where it really, really shines. So, for some reason, in like all the product images I've ever seen, they always have them like, oh, I'm shooting my repulsor blast. Look at me, I can't move my wrist. However, if you just don't tap it in all the way, you can move the wrist up, and it looks a lot more natural and freaking like Iron Man, guys. What are you, stupid? And also, yes, the repulsors do fit on the boots, which I'm very excited for. When the Battle Damage one comes out, I really want to display an Iron Man with 2 repulsors on the boots and 2 repulsors on the hands. Because overall, if you just look at how this figure rests with the repulsors, it's really, really nice. This figure just carries a nice silhouette. And it's really weird for me to say, but this is one of the first Marvel Legends I've gotten where I feel like Hasbro put a lot of effort into it, especially with the engineering and just the sculpt and the physique of it. I'm being dead serious. I'm usually not one to gawk in a Marvel Legends this much. It's like, oh yeah, it's just a figure, but I feel like they really put a lot of effort into this Iron Man. So yeah, guys, that has been my review of the Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Iron Man Mark 46 6-inch action figure. Make sure to come like and subscribe. Check out my Facebook page if you have a chance. Have a good day, guys, and I cannot talk today. That's probably why I'm not going to film any more reviews, because I've kind of had it. Hey, guys,